Well, Jim, that's a long introduction there
Yeah.
to be coming on the air, all right. But I think, it was the right thing that they have done at this point in time. It was actually scandalous what went on there, and we always thought that the International Athletics Federation, the IAAF, were out there to protect, and we always thought we had trust in what they were doing over the years. So while for many a decade, a lot of athletes were rather suspicious regarding rumours and innuendos that was going on around the world, what has come to light in Russia is scandalous. And under the circumstances of the time involved, in terms of the last week or so, or even months since the subject came up with the ARD documentary on television, the IAAF and Lord Coe certainly has done the right thing by temporarily suspending them and hopefully bringing an independent anti-doping agency in there to make sure that they get it right going forward.
And Eamonn, if I can bring you on to Irish athletes with prospects of competing in Rio in 2016, what is Ireland's best hopes of medals in track and field defence? And with such athletes of past generations like Dervla O'Rourke and Sonia O'Sullivan now retired, there seems to be a feeling that there is no glamorous Irish athletes competing in track and fields anymore.
Well, we do have glamorous athletes competing in track and field. We have Thomas Barr from Waterford, who won the World Student Games 400-metre hurdles. He's only up and coming, and I've no doubt that Thomas has the potential and the capability of at least making it to the final of Rio. He's raw talent. He's got fantastic speed, and particularly over the last hurdle and the last 50 metres of the 400-metre hurdles, he's got the strength and the speed combined. So I wouldn't be a bit surprised if he is in with a shot. Likewise, you have Mark English from Donegal. I've known Mark since he was 12 or 13 years of age. He's won at international level, on the international stage at junior level. Mark is studying medicine in UCD, and he's European silver and European bronze medalist both outdoors and indoors. And I think now, please God, that we will have a much more level playing field going into the Rio Olympic Games with what has come out as a result of the scandal that's gone on, that athletes around the world will be afraid of their lives to go down that road. Thus, it'll give someone like Mark English, who's got all the talent in the world, an opportunity to compete and, please God, get into the final and even come and win a medal.
And Eamonn, if I can bring you back to some of your own glory days. You set an Irish record at 22 years of age and followed this up setting a European record also at the 4-minute mile distance. You then broke the indoor mile world record on 3 occasions and also set a world record over the 1500 and 2000 metres. You finished fourth in the 1500 at the 1976 and 5000 and the 5000 event at the 1980 Summer Olympics and made the semi-final again in 88. What are your memories of competing in the Olympics for Ireland and your memories of those final races?
My memories of those are nerve-wracking.
Yeah.
You know, when you dream all your life of going to the Olympic Games, representing your country, winning a lot of races in advance, and then it comes to the final, it's amazing what being on the start line of a final can do to your whole nervous system. A lot of athletes try and go into these races thinking, I'll just treat it as another race, I'll be nice and calm. But when it comes to your final day of judgment, when you're a small fish in a big pond and everybody's looking in on you, it does awful things to your head. So when I look back with all the nerves that one had to endure during those. But at the same time, I look back in disappointment that I probably tried a little bit too hard because I wanted it bad. I look back because in 1980, I got sick as a bloody dog going into it again because I overtrained. Okay, people might say, but you finished fourth. But I tell you, there's a huge difference between finishing first, second and third and fourth place. It's the worst possible position of all. And having said that, it drove me on because I always wanted to come back and prove to myself I could get it right on the day. And fortunately, I did that in the World Championships, and it even drove me on to when I was still trying to become the first person on the planet to run a sub 4-minute mile in the Masters category over 40 years of age.
And was that your greatest moment, becoming the world champion at the 5,000 metres event at the 1983 World Championships?
Well, I'd have to say yes. In a nutshell, there were many, many fantastic moments growing up as a young kid in Dublin, competing at national level, breaking your first ever sub 4 minute mile, winning many championship races in America when I was at college, winning European indoor championships, breaking world records for the mile. They were all just fantastic moments. But because it is a world championship, it certainly defines an athlete, whether it's an Olympic gold medal or a world championship gold medal, that you're doing it on the big stage. So I would have to agree with you and say, yeah, that was my finest moment.
And finally, Eamonn, if I can bring you on to the current big names of the athletic world, the likes of Usain Bolt, David Rudisha, Shelly-Ann Fraser and Ethiopia's Gezimbe Dibaba, do you feel that all four are sure bets for Olympic gold medals in Rio? And what other athletes do you fancy to achieve gold in the track and field in events in the Olympics next year?
Well, as I alluded to there a little while ago, there's no such thing as a sure bet because anything can happen on the day. It's the one day every 4 years that you've really got to try and get it right. Injuries, illnesses, overtraining, nerves, luck, all that plays a major role in getting it right on the day. There's a lot of young lads coming up in the 800 metres that will be a threat to David Rudisha. If you look at Usain Bolt, yeah, he's a phenomenon.
Yeah.
He's a freak. He's a fine athlete, and he has been since he was a very young teenager. When at 15 years of age, he was able to run 45 seconds for 400 metres, where he was the first and only junior in athletics to break 20 seconds for the 200 metres. He certainly has the credentials all his life, and I've no doubt that he's still relatively young, 28 years of age, 29, I think, coming up to the next Olympic Games. If he can stay healthy, I'd say he'd be the favourite to win. Not a sure bet, but the favourite. Shelly-Ann Fraser, you wouldn't know what can happen again. She has been, like Bolt, a superstar in the Olympic Games and in the World Championships over 100 metres in recent years. Then if you look at David Rudisha, perhaps the finest 800 metre runner of all time, just think about it. He can run a half a mile in 100 seconds. 1 minute and 40 seconds. David is being coached by brother Colm O'Connell from County Cork over in Kenya, and he's a cool head on his shoulders, and I think he will have the right psychology going into the event, and he'll put the fear factor in the others. So again, I'd say they're favourites, but not sure bets.
Okay, Eamonn, thanks a million for taking the call there. It's been a pleasure talking to you, and hopefully we can speak to you sometime in the near future again.
You're more than welcome, Jim. A pleasure to speak with you too. Thank you.
Cheers. Bye.